Okay. Can you recollect some Mesolithic sites in Bilan Valley? Huh. Bilan Valley is located in which place? Huh. Okay. Present day Allahabad region, Prayagraj region. Yes. Any name? Chopani Mando? Okay. Any other place? Mahadaha, Damdama. You see that. You see the place and you recollect. Huh. Sarai Nahar Rai. Hmm. Okay. Any other place in any other state? In Rajasthan? Didwana is Paleolithic. Huh. Hmm. Huh. Okay. Very good. Hmm. Okay. Huh. In Kerala. Kerala. Huh. Tenmalai. Okay. Hmm. In Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, similar name comes. Hmm. Yes, yes, yes. Bagor. Bagor in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh. Okay. So, and Bimbetka Adamgar, as usual, Paleolithic and Mesolithic also. Today we are going to start with Neolithic. As of now, we have not seen any person name, any archaeologist name, the persons who contributed for the growth of archaeology or prehistoric age in India. Today onwards, you are going to get some scholar names also, because this makes a difference from the others answers. Generally, when it is Paleolithic life, Mesolithic life, Neolithic life, general description, most of the students are comfortable. But to make difference from general studies answer to optional answer, these names only will change. For that, you need to remember few names. First one, when is the Archaeological Survey of India was established? Any idea? Yes, yes, Alexander Cunningham. In 1861. It was the time period. Around the same time period only, we are going to see the discovery of Paleolithic tool for the first time in India. His name is Robert Bruce Foote. I will write the names. Now, today onwards, you will find some names also. Okay, this is what we need to. Gradually, I am going to take you to that level. Write this name. John Lubbock. Uh, this person is the one who introduced the term Neolithic. Huh. In the overall Stone Age, all Stone Age related. But Stone Age, in, in Stone Age, we get Paleolithic also, Mesolithic also, Neolithic also. Generally, it is a prehistoric. What is the meaning of prehistoric? Scholars related to prehistoric age. Scholars related to prehistoric age. John Lubbock. Write this name and you write. The term Neolithic was introduced by him. The term Neolithic was introduced by him. This word, this word Neolithic was used to differentiate it from Old Stone Age. In bracket, you give 1865. 1865. These years you need not to worry whether to remember very hardly or not. Naturally, just you observe around 1860s what was happening in India. Any idea? Around 1865, just 1857 revolt happened, and thereafter Britishers were bringing some reforms. So likewise, just have some rough estimate what is happening at that time. Next person, Alexander Cunningham. Alexander Cunningham. He founded Archaeological Survey of India. He founded Archaeological Survey of India. Even today also it is functioning. So that shows the foundations of archaeology laid in this time period. So in 1860s, developments were happening. He was known as father of Indian archaeology. In UPSC mains, directly questions will not come to write about scholars. Wherever it is necessary, you have to quote it. He was known as father of Indian archaeology. This is 1861. Next person name Robert Bruce Foote. This person, John Lubbock, the moment he gave Neolithic, then it became Paleolithic, Neolithic, like that. But this person, Robert Bruce Foote, he was working in Madras region. In Madras, when he was working, he was under Archaeological Survey, Geological Survey of India. So one day he found one stone, and that stone turned out to be the first Paleolithic tool in India. Robert Bruce Foote, in 1863, he found a hand axe. Write this. He found a hand axe at Pallavaram. near Madras. This term will come again in Pallavas. Pallavas started temple architectures. In the initial stages, some temples were also there in this particular location. Pallavaram, Madras. Now it is part of Madras. It is one of the suburban of Madras. Hand axe. He is known as father of Indian prehistory. Father of Indian prehistory. So he was known as father of Indian archaeology. He was known as father of Indian prehistory. So three people name came. Now, one more person. V. Gordon Child. V. Gordon Child. He was the one who introduced the term Neolithic Revolution. He introduced Neolithic Revolution. Now, four scholars came. Wherever it is necessary, suppose if you are writing about Neolithic, you can introduce, in introduction itself, John Lubbock was the one who introduced, and V. Gordon Child used the Neolithic Revolution. So wherever it is required, you use. Whenever question is related to prehistory, then use the term Robert Brucewood. Since the beginning of Robert Brucewood, who found hand axe. So like that, you have to quote it. Exactly. So now we are going to see those scholars also. So the theory and the counter argument by different scholars. So those scholars also you will get two, three people once again there. So whoever you can remember, you try to remember. No, don't think about very hardly that you have to remember each and every scholar name. Huh. Hmm. Huh. That is enough. Suppose whenever you have date issue, you can roughly quote like in the second half of 19th century. Huh. Hmm. Huh. No, one particular year will not change entire answer. Answer has to be, you have to see in the holistic way. Hmm. Hmm. But what about the other points which demands question? Question demand is not about year. Question demands about, suppose, explain about the regional characteristics of Neolithic. Then you have to see entire question in that context. If you are drawing the map and you are giving in Kashmir, these are the Neolithic, in Northeast, these are the Neolithic, in South, these are the Neolithic. Now, when you are explaining in that context, what makes the difference whether you write for one particular year or not? You have to see in that context. As long as you are satisfying the demand of the question, these years not at all a matter. You need not to think about it at all. If you remember, fine. If you don't remember, don't mention it at all. It won't make any difference. As long as you are writing the demand of the question. If you don't write about the Northeast, if you don't write about South India, that makes a difference. If you don't write about the year, it won't make any difference. You have to see in that context only. That's why naturally, whatever you can remember, you remember. Don't force your brain to remember these dates because so many dates will come. Naturally, when you are reading the entire history, naturally you are going to remember some years without any pain. Yeah, enough. If its question is about is Battle of Plassey is a real battle, you can explain everything. Hmm. Those arguments we will bring whenever that particular topic comes. Huh. Yes. All those arguments you have to bring. So here our discussion is years, not a matter at all. Naturally, whatever you can remember, you can write. If you don't remember, don't force. Because UPSC always gives question in a analytical way. You have to think always in the analytical manner. Suppose if question is about Mesolithic, then you are mentioning Bilan Valley. If you simply mention Bilan Valley, one type of impact. If you write some 4 5 sites really what are located in the Bilan Valley, that makes difference. Okay, here nowhere year comes, but place names will come because that makes a huge difference. This one. Now, when it comes to Neolithic, what is the major change from Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic means the practice of agriculture. In this location, and in the previous classes, we have seen Paleolithic age and Mesolithic age. In Paleolithic, the was it locked or open? Open only. Okay. When it comes to Paleolithic, hunting and gathering is the subsistence pattern. When Mesolithic stage entered, when Pleistocene ended and the Holocene started, the temperatures rise, environment became warm, the climate became warm. It made changes in the growth of plants also. Once plants, rainfall are happening, then automatically the nature of food, the choice of food also going to change for the species. Here species means both the animal species and including human species also. When plants are responding to that environment and animals are responding to that environment, human beings also will respond to that environment. As a result, in Mesolithic, gradually the domestication of animals started, fishing, another food habit started, and even in some places a little bit agricultural practice also started. But major difference came when agriculture was practiced in a large scale. The first reference in our Indian context comes from Mehergarh. You draw the map now. India map. This is the location of Mehergarh. Huh. Huh. That's why we study prehistory is all about Indian subcontinent. Indian subcontinent includes Afghanistan also, Pakistan also, Bangladesh also. Up to British, till 1947, our focus is going to be Indian subcontinent. This is present day boundary. Unfortunately, we were divided, but historically, culturally, we share the common bonds. Huh. Huh, everything. Now we have to focus only this part. But without mentioning Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, the Harappan civilization is not complete. That's why in the ancient times, these boundaries were not there. Only geography matters. In this geographic location, the culture evolved. And that is going to have impact on different parts of India. In future, we don't know. Our boundaries may change. So we don't know. From the Mehergad. Now you give different type of introductions how I can give. Introduction to Neolithic. This introduction you can use in the answer. The Neolithic period in India, the Neolithic period in India is a significant chapter. Is a significant chapter in the country's prehistoric past. It marks a it marks a transformative phase transformative phase when when early human communities made made crucial advancements in their way of life in their way of life. Okay, now you give a table, and in map also we are going to show that this is timeline related to Neolithic. Or you can mention like this: 9000 BCE. It was the in the world context Neolithic started. Neolithic began. When it comes to Indian subcontinent, 7000 BCE. Indian subcontinent. That's why throughout our answer writing, always mention Indian subcontinent. Next, around 3000 BC, Neolithic in Deccan. 2700, Jammu and Kashmir. 2000, Bihar. 1000, Northeast. If you see this map, so it is like this. 9000, 7000, now 3000, 2700, 2000, 1000. This is how it is Neolithic culture. Any change, whenever something happens in other part of the globe, it is going to take time to reach the other part. When it comes to Vedic traditions also, 1000 BCE, Vedic traditions, and gradually after 200, 300 years, it reaches there. When it comes to Mauryan culture, NBPW, Northern Black Polished Ware, that kind of advancement comes in Deccan after post-Mauryan period. Here, some kind of already way of life will be there. That's why during Sangam time period, the Sangam age contains the elements of pre-Vedic time period also, Vedic time period elements also, because of continuous interaction. You mention this in the map. You write in the map also. Okay. Now you give Neolithic characteristics. Neolithic characteristics. Hunting and gathering continued. Hunting and gathering practice is not going to vanish, because even today also we find in some pockets of India. Domestication of animals. Agriculture became dominant. Once agriculture comes, then artisan activities also will increase. Arts and crafts, tool making. One of the important tool for agriculture practice is celt. When it comes to Mesolithic, microliths. When it comes to Neolith, polished stone tool that is called celt. It's a polished hand axe. Now, once arts and crafts comes, in some locations, certain type of raw material will be available. In certain places, other kind. In all the places, whatever is required for arts and crafts may not be available. So what they have to do? They have to import from the other place. So rudimentary trading practices. Trading practices started. This is how once people started interacting with each other, then a cultural identities, village setups also emerged. Villages emerged. Villages emerged. Now, social structures started. For example, the professions taken by male and female. Role of gender. Some scholars even used to say that the agriculture practice was started by women because men used to go for hunting and men they experimented at their home and they started because they used to go and pick up, collect the grains and they understood how these grains are coming, they experimented. That kind of role of gender also emerged. Role of gender, children emerged. The food habits changed. Everything. Now, once agriculture comes, settled life comes. Once settled life comes, people will not move from one place to the other place. And gradually, whatever village characteristics we are seeing today, that started emerging in those time period. Now, when it comes to technology, wheel, pottery, terracotta, art and culture emerged in the form of some kind of religious beliefs. Those beliefs we can see in the form of burials. That means some kind of belief they were. And when it comes to terracotta, mother goddess type of terracottas. Mother goddess terracotta. So such kind of elements started coming out. Now you can see all these we are going to write for even Harappa also. When it comes to Neolithic, they used stone tools. Later they are going to start using copper. That's why in this location first stone tools emerged by 3000, by 2500 BC, copper became dominant and even some people even experimented by mixing copper with the tin, became bronze civilization. When bronze civilization was happening, now you see around 3000 BC, these people started using the stone tools. By this time, already copper is known here. And that idea of copper also entered here. It is at this place, both copper and stone tools came at a time. That's why they are also called Neolithic, Chalcolithic combinedly. In some places, Neolithic came first, later Chalcolithic came. But here, Neolithic and Chalcolithic traditions came at a time. That's why in UPSC also in map pointing, Neolithic, Chalcolithic sites they used to give. These are the characteristics. Now, all these things seems when it comes to the Mesolithic, when you compare with the Mesolithic and Paleolithic, these are all revolutionary. That's why we Gordon Child use the term Neolithic revolution. But there are certain counter arguments also to that. Now let us see this. You give the heading why the agriculture began in Neolithic age. Why Neolithic age or why agriculture? First of all, agriculture, why people started? You just mention only these words. This you are going to study in the material itself. First, you give we God on child. We God on child. You give just bullet points. According to him, environmental changes. Environmental changes caused people to go for agriculture. Environmental changes. So he said earlier it was ice age, completely environment was very harsh, not conducive for agriculture. Once it became warm, then agriculture, people started entering into agriculture. But a counter argument, now you give the countered by Robert J. Braidwood. Countered by Robert J. Braidwood. According to him, even Mesolithic and Pleistocene age also, these environmental changes started, but every time agriculture did not practice. So that means there are some other points, according to Braidwood, it led to the agriculture. So he said, you give Robert J. Braidwood nuclear zone. Next theory. So this is first one, we Gordon child. His argument and countered by other person. Second one, second number, Robert J. Braidwood. His theory is nuclear zone. Nuclear zone. You write that nuclear zone. So nuclear zone. He said there were some pockets. In some pockets, these domestication of plants became very conducive. Whenever certain nuclear zones emerged, and in those pockets, the agriculture emerged. But it was countered by Lewis or Binford. Countered by Lewis or Binford. And he said these nuclear zones archaeologically, in which places these nuclear zones emerged, we cannot really tested, could not be archaeologically tested. So he said, even in some nuclear zones, some kind of plants came, but what made people to go for agriculture? Third one, Lewis or Binford, pressure on resources. Third scholar, third argument, Lewis or Binford. According to him, it is the pressure on resources. According to him, when environment changed, population growth also increased. And in certain areas, whatever resources are available, earlier those resources were sufficient for the people. But when population grew, this balance disturbed, and as a result, people now forced for the new way of subsistence that led to the agriculture. But question is, in those times, when today we are talking about sustainable development, so much overpopulation and pressure on the resources. But in those times, really was it a pressure? Because so much resource were available, comparing with today's standard, population was very less. That's why it is also counted. Now, Kent Flannery, and he told all the above things, it appears like a single event. Like environment changed, agriculture started. Some nuclear zones emerged, agriculture started. Population pressure started. That's why he said it is not an event, it is a process. So you give, he focused on the process. It's a natural process of food production. It is a natural. Earlier, people were going for hunting and gathering. Then gradually they understood some domestication of plants, domestication of animals, and gradually it led to the agriculture practices. This is about this. Now the conclusion is going to be, even this argument also countered like people understood the importance of agriculture. But in the first place, why? In the first place, why people experimented? People took the advantage of agriculture, but why they were forced, they did not explain. That's why the conclusion is going to be the causes are there in all the arguments. That is going to, you give the conclusion like for this argument why agriculture started means it suggests that key lie in environmental change and the other factors as well. That is going to be the now. Neolithic revolution. You give Neolithic revolution. Neolithic Revolution. It was used by V. Gordon Child. It was used by V. Gordon Child in his book Man Makes Himself. Okay, he said environment changed suddenly, then everything, the domestication of plants started immediately. Once agriculture started, everything has changed in the way of life. All these factors like agriculture started, village started, social structure started, wheel started, pottery started, and trade started, art and culture emerged, religious beliefs emerged. All these things happened suddenly. That's why he considered it as a revolution. But counter argument is no, climate change is a sudden one. It's a gradual one. It's a evolution. Domestication of plants also, animals also. It's not a sudden act. It's a gradual act. That's why we can term it as a evolution rather than a revolution. But when it comes to the conclusion, the consequence of agriculture are revolutionary. Once agriculture started, now food production mechanism changed. The way people food habits changed. People got more leisure, and people all sorts of modern way of life emerged. Instead of instead of the changes in the environment, it is the consequences of the agriculture that makes revolutionary. That is give you just give the conclusion that conclusion is going to be the transition to agriculture. The transition to agriculture and domestication of animals were so crucial for the were so crucial for the social and economic organization of human communities. Of human communities. The term revolution, the term revolution can be used to highlight, can be used to highlight the consequences of beginning of agriculture, consequences of beginning of agriculture rather than introducing agriculture. So growing crops itself is not a revolutionary, but the consequences were revolutionary. Now you give these things in these Neolithic revolution, how he termed why he gave the term Neolithic revolution means agriculture innovation, domestication of animals, settled life, developments of arts and crafts, whatever characteristics we have written, same characteristics only, and technological advancement, trade networks emerged, impact on health. Now mortality rate decreased, population increased, population growth. Once population emerged, social complexity, social relations emerged, impact on women or gender, impact on men, impact on women, impact on children, cultural and artistic expressions. Cultural and artistic expression and cultural diffusion. Now, one part of people started exchanging the ideas with other part. That's how the gradual, today we are calling Indian culture. That the beginning lies in this part. And the last point you can write the impact on environment, because we are talking about environmental change, climate change. Completely the impact on environment. Because from this time period onwards, the final one, 13th one, impact on environment. Because agriculture means now you have to use the water, irrigation, domestication of plant. Now you are going to experiment. Genetic changes are going to change. So gradually, completely the relationship between human and environment started changing. And from that time period onwards, so many changes in the human evolution started. He considered this was the very important revolution in the human history. The second revolution, which he considered as industrial revolution. So before industrial revolution, if there is any revolution in the human history, that is Neolithic revolution. Okay. Now you write one question. Use the same content. You just follow like 10 marks. Only one page you have to write. Here to here. Similar way. Now also you practice now for this question. To what extent, question, write the question. To what extent we can believe, to what extent we can believe that changes in Neolithic, changes in Neolithic age are revolutionary in nature. To what extent we can believe that changes in Neolithic age or revolutionary in nature? Comment. Your practice is now you know the content, but how you fit in the single page, that you practice. Hmm. So now you got some introduction, some scholar names also, some terminologies also, conclusion also. You fit everything in single page, but a single page. Knowledge is not the issue how now. Now how you concise that knowledge into single page is the practice you require now. And side like this also, you can make India map also. How entire India changed, transformed in Neolithic period. Single page. Okay. For your handwriting, you write the point, 1, 2, 3, like that. Otherwise, you have to make underlines. Okay. It is about Mesolithic or Mesolithic. Question Neolithic. You have written in the context of Mesolithic. Mm. Ah, okay. So now onwards, what we are going to do? You are going to introduce in your answer the places. Whenever Mesolithic comes, Mesolithic names will come. When it comes to Neolithic, Neolithic names should come. That makes complete answer. Whatever description you are giving, now you add to the description with this. You need not to write everything, but a few names. You draw this Neolithic cultures. Neolithic cultures in different parts of India. Whenever question on prehistoric age, you should not miss the opportunity to show this. Done? Now you give the heading. Last one, art and culture of prehistoric people. Art and culture of prehistoric people. When you are going to study map, you have to study map very detailed way, because 50 marks map only. Prehistoric sites itself around 8 to 9 questions will come. In all these places, some kind of specialty you are going to observe. It could be related to agriculture, it could be related to tools, artifacts, religion. Whenever question is related to not like map, like description, write about Paleolithic life, write about Neolithic life. After knowing the map, you incorporate those elements also in the answer. Because it's all about evidence. The way you are writing the description, it is like normal. Up to 40%, 45%, up to that level, it will take you. To reach the 60%, you have to include these evidences. Because as you gradually, as your course goes, you are going to know more and more evidence. As more and more evidence you are going to come, next time when I ask you to write the same question, your answer has to be different one. Structure is same with places, with more evidence. That makes the difference in your answer. So the quality of your answer is going to change completely the more you are going to know about the evidences. Art and culture. You give the line. Prehistoric art introduction. Prehistoric art marks the beginning of the history of art in India. Beginning of the history of art in India. Suppose if question after few classes you are going to write about the art and culture of post-Mauryan period. So in introduction, you are going to use prehistory also. Since the prehistoric age, India has seen the development of art and culture. But during post-Mauryan period, it reached to the very high level. That way you are going to use always, whenever you are thinking about a history question, think from prehistory. Because many developments have the roots in prehistory itself. Prehistoric art marks the beginning of the history of whether it is painting in medieval times. Same thing. Prehistory onwards, as a history optional student, you have to think from the prehistory time period onwards. Prehistoric art marks the beginning of the history of art in India. It is also an important window. It is also an important window into the world of prehistoric people. It's a window because archaeological evidence, whatever burial practices, whatever stone tools, whatever we identify, we have to infer the life of people. Art and culture painting, for example, it is one of the best evidence which we can use for understanding the life of people. So it's a window to the world of prehistoric people. Apart from paintings on rocks, apart from paintings on rocks, rock art includes painting on rocks, comma, rock art, rock art, rock art includes, this term is very important, petroglyphs. Petroglyphs. UPSC may ask like fossil site in map pointing. Similarly, it can ask, as of now, this was not asked in previous year question, but it can ask like a petroglyph site. What does it mean? You are going to write. Petroglyph petroglyph is the term used is the term used when some substance of a rock surface when some substance of a rock surface is removed. Rock surface is removed. Suppose if rock is there, people can engrave. Painting means with some colors they can do something, but they will remove the top surface and they will make some images. By removing the surface, like by carving. Now you will get. Yes, we are going to continue this statement. Substance of a rock surface is removed through engraving, engraving, comma, hammering, comma, chiseling. So same thing. Petroglyphs. So whenever this kind of engravings, but only difference is if it is asked about the prehistoric petroglyph. Prehistoric means we have to restrict to before 1000 BC. Those are historic petroglyphs. Ajanta, after the invention of script. These are before prehistoric petroglyphs. Through engraving, comma, hammering, comma, chiseling, or scooping. Scooping. Like rock cut, simply rock cut architecture. But during prehistoric time period, they don't have that technology. That's why limited way. Continue that. Such remains were clearly such remains were clearly an integral part of community life. Community life of prehistoric people. So here we are talking about when it comes to art and culture, two things. One is paintings which are survived. It is also part of art and culture. Another one is petroglyphs which are survived to understand the life of these people. Now you give mother goddess one by one. Subheading mother goddess. In Bilan Valley, in Bilan Valley, Lohanda Nala. Lohanda Nala gives the evidence of gives the evidence of carved bone object. On rock surface only petroglyph, the term is used. Yeah, it is not petroglyph, it's art. We are talking about art and culture. It is related to rocks. So paintings, petroglyphs, these paintings can be on rocks because only the survived objects, and it can be craft work. They are all part of art and culture. For example, Gandhara art, Amaravati art, they are all like craft work only with stones, ivory craft. With ivory, that elephant tusk, they used in post-Mauryan period. It is very, very important task. They used to export to the Western world. But in those times, only whatever small bones, small rocks, only they have used. Identified carved bone object found in Nohanda Valley. It has been identified as Mother Goddess. It has been identified as Mother Goddess. Next, Mother Goddess. Second one, a circular disc. A circular disc made of chalcedony. Whenever you are going to see the map pointings, these terms will increase in your answer writing. Different type of stones. Chalcedony at Bimbetka. At Bimbetka. Is an artistic expression of prehistoric people. So bone, with the bone also art they practiced. With the stone also they practiced. Next one. Ostrich. Ostrich eggshell. A piece of ostrich eggshell. A piece of ostrich eggshell engraved with designs was discovered at Patna. Patna is in Maharashtra. One in Madhya Pradesh, one in Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra. So when you are writing answer, you try to bring different regions of India and different varieties. They used rocks also. They used bones also. They used eggshell also for engraving the art. Next, animal teeth. So you see, when whatever object available, they try to use it. Animal teeth. In Karnool cave, Karnool is in Andhra. Karnool, in Karnool cave, animal teeth, animal teeth with grooves, some kind of artistic work was discovered. This represented prehistoric people might have used it as an ornament. Used it as an ornament by attaching a string. So, like we used to wear ornaments in necklace. So, like that, animal teeth they might have used. By attaching the string, they might have worn it as an ornament. Next, drum like rock. Drum like rock at Bimbetka. Drum like rock at Bimbetka. This rock was discovered at Bimbetka in a cave called Auditorium Cave. Auditorium Cave. This was having like this. One rock was there, and on this rock, like this. We don't know what does it mean. Whether they were beating like to announce something, or was it a cultural practice or a belief, religious belief practice, we don't know. But definitely some kind of, it's a kind of art. It might be having some kind of significance in their life. Auditorium cave. Next, sixth one, Bhagor. In which place? Madhya Pradesh. Bhagor stone with triangles. Bhagor with triangles. You see this. They prepared stone in the form of mother goddess. And some archaeologists considered it as the beginning of worshipping of mother goddess. Because in our Indian culture, mother goddess Kali is very, very essential part of life. We don't know really. Our interpretation, because of the present circumstances, even today also, we are worshipping such kind of objects. Probably some kind of goddess, icon of goddess in Bagor. You use this term. Bagor, stone with triangles. It is considered as an icon of a goddess. Even today, write this contemporary connection. Even today, yes, tribes like Kol and Baiga, Kol tribe and Baiga tribal people make such images. Now you see the continuation of the tradition. Even after this is Paleolithic. Paleolithic means before 10,000 BC. Now 10,000 that side, 2,000 this side, 12,000 years minimum. We don't know even before that. At least that means from 12,000 years onwards, the tradition is continuing. So our historic roots, our cultural roots are there in the prehistory period itself. Icon of goddess. Petroglyph art in Kupgal. Kupgal, Karnataka. Kupgal, petroglyph in Karnataka. Next, Bhimbetka rock paintings. So various ways they express themselves. Actually, this was the question in general studies answer. In 2015, there was a question. In 2015, there was a question that the rock art of prehistoric can be compared with even contemporary standard also. It is as aesthetic as with modern art. That was the question in 2015 in general studies GS1. Most of the time in general studies, art and culture related questions used to come. You can use all these dimensions. So different dimension, different evidence. As a history optional student, you have to give evidence. Place names. And in the end, you can show one map and you can show in different places. Without a map, one kind of feeling to the examiner. But if you draw even small map, but if you show Kupgal, Bhimbetka, map you use in the right side like this. You give small space. Not so big. For example, you are writing this one, now you have written this question. For example, this. You leave some space here. Now you say this space is left. You can use this space to draw a box and you draw the map, small map, and you continue the answer in the rest of the place. But this shows like one picture will completely alter the image of your answer because that gives a different feeling to the examiner. One visual representation makes a lot of difference. Just use small map and you show all these places. That's it. Okay. Now, what art and culture represents? What art and culture represents? To write like a point by point. One, their social structure. Hyphen, like hunting in groups. It represent band society. Group of people. Society is like a band. 25 people, 100 people, small communities. Social structure. Then subsistence pattern. Because in Bhimbetka, these caves represent hunting scenes. Subsistence pattern. Then family. They have the representation of images with women with pregnancy. So family, importance to baby. Next, festivals. Some images with like they are dancing. Dancing and huh, huh, huh. Okay, okay, okay. So that shows festival activities, dancing images, religious practices. Similar religious practice like worshipping Mother Goddess. Bagor. Bagor example you can give Bagor triangle. Triangle. Even today, tribal people are also making that Kol and Baiga tribal people. So likewise, religious practices and their technology. Chemistry in painting. In paintings, some kind of chemistry, technology. And when rock, so that is engineering skills. Engineering skills. Even general studies student also write these dimensions. As a history optional, what makes difference? In which location you identified this evidence? Bhimbetka caves, Bagor, Kubgal in Karnataka. and the people who contributed in discovering. For example, Bhimbetka caves. Bhimbetka caves were discovered by Vakanka. There was a person, while he was traveling in the train, he identified something was there and he discovered that. That is there in the material. You try to remember. Again, don't force yourself to remember these facts. Naturally, when you are revising 2, 3 times, you will remember some of these. Huh. No problem at all. Okay. Now you see in which place the dates are coming. Nowhere. Whether even if you don't write dates at all, it won't make the difference. But giving these dimensions makes the difference. It's all about how many dimensions you are going to give, how much evidence you are going to give. Huh. Mm. Huh. That is not a matter because evidence is from Madhya Pradesh only. As long as that evidence is true, no matter. Or you can give from Bimbetka, the following evidences will come. You change in a different way. From Bimbetka Adamgar caves, we get the following evidence. Now you are writing only once, but dimensions are going to be 3. From Kubgal, we get this evidence. From Bagor, we get this evidence. When you are going to get 3, 4 dimensions from the single place, you convert the statement. From Bimbetka Adamgar caves, the following evidence comes. 1, 2, 3, 4 dimensions. Like that you can give. Only changing the order of the statements. Okay. Next one. Last one. Why did they? Why did the people practice art? Argument 1. First argument, for the sake of art. Because today we make movies, someone write a poem, someone write books for the sake of art to express themselves. This is one kind of argument that they did for the sake of art. Counter argument. It is too much sophisticated for the early stage of human history. We cannot really accept this. Accept this means we don't know really. The counter argument. Is it really for the art's sake or to show some kind of message to the next generation? To pass some kind of information to the public, to the community, to the children, to the women who are not going for the hunting? Spread message or some kind of utility purpose or just for the sake of I for enjoyment purpose? Yes, utility. That is the counter argument. Too much sophistication at a very early stage in the human history. At a very early stage in human history. Huh. Hmm. That is the conclusion. Conclusion is going to be both balanced view. For some art, that is utility purpose. For some art might be because they got the leisure time. When economic changed, they got the leisure time and they might have used it for the sake of art. Second argument, to overcome conflicts. To overcome conflicts. For example, we make some kind of peaceful movies for communal harmony. It's a kind of art. Counter argument is, but the society was not that complex. But society was not that complex. There were no sharp social differences. Huh. Because they are very banned, common people, very few people. We cannot expect that kind of social conflict what we see today. Yes, that kind of religious rigid beliefs might not be there. But one kind of argument, assumption, because we don't know. Analysis, critical analysis, last point. No, these are the two arguments. Critical assessment. Finally, what argument we'll take or what balanced view we take. In all probability, these are the terms. Whenever there is no conclusive evidence, we have to use these terms. In all probability, people depicted conclusion. Conclusion. In all probability, people depicted various animals to ensure control over them. To ensure control over them. For ritual purpose and for utilitarian purpose to pass information to the next generations. To pass information to the next generations. Okay, we stop here. Chalcolithic. Chalcolithic. Yeah, after now metal will start, and combination of Neolithic, Chalcolithic is the Indus Valley. That's where early Harappans will emerge. Yeah. Okay, online students.